Welcome back, everyone, for a new weekly recap. And today, well, that was the first week of getting back to training, so that was interesting. Let's get to it and show you the things that I have done. Because, well, that was interesting because my knee feel better. Even though at the beginning that was kind of a little bit weird, uh, after a while, I started feeling quite a lot better. So, first of all, 115, which was the goal for this week. So roughly good. First session went very well, but I think because I really didn't have any fatigue and so on, so because I was extremely recovered from those weeks off, that was great. But the second session was slightly harder, but I believe that's because I was testing some stuff, which made me actually have a leak of power in my swing. And I figured what I need to do because mainly what I was kind of doing is kind of try to extend my left side by kind of sliding it through the backswing, which kind of make it weird because what you want to do. So the first thing I'm doing at the takeaway is kind of I try to get the club inside very hardly, very hard, very fast, and then what I want to do is kind of create as much width and torque as possible. And that, as a consequence, if I do it correctly, is going to shift my weight extremely to the left very quickly. And so, but what I was doing actually didn't do that. It was getting me stuck on my right leg. So and then that's probably why I was struggling to get the speed and so on. Anyway, so I was kind of okay. Same for the squat here. Honestly, 150 felt great. I don't know if I did 2 reps. Yeah, I think I did 2 reps. I did 2 reps at 150. That was great. The 190 on the bended squat also went relatively okay. Just that having so much, because when I unrack and move back, having so much weight on my right leg, because when you move back, you kind of have all the weight on one leg and then all the weight on the other leg. And so when that was the time of my right leg, it kind of felt weird. But I think I kind of find some solution if I, because I wasn't doing it very carefully, but if I kind of keep my hip, knee, and ankle on the same exact line, really trying to be careful and really press my leg before actually moving the weight, I think we should be fine. I should be able to kind of handle more weight despite my knee still being a little bit weird. Also, I kind of changed a lot of stuff here because, as you can see, previously I wanted to kind of do some max strength partial and power work, as you can see here. But what I saw, first of all, is as I told you, I want to kind of prioritize one lift after the other. And I believe squat is mainly the key lift that is going to actually lead me to more power. That's why I'm focusing more on squat at the moment. And I even hesitate to go here. I've put one because I want to reach kind of my goal of 180, push a little further for 190. So then when I come back to 180 is somewhat easy. And I can prioritize other lift like the deadlift and the bench. It's almost like having a very slow and steady progression that doesn't really tire me that much. We'll see about that. I'm not sure. But what's sure is I'm going to prioritize squat for the next 3 mesocycles. So this one, next one, the one after. And unfortunately, the slow rate of progress won't allow me to do those max strength and power work that I wanted to. But here's the deal. I don't think that's that bad because the way I've built my annual plan was kind of with the idea of picking for an event. You know, it's like pushing your performance really high for a specific moment to crush that event. But that is not something that it's like you're steadily increasing your baseline level, and then if you really want to reach your peak level, that's not something sustainable, but that if you need it during competition, you can. But here, the goal of this year is not even, I mean, we'll see about that. We'll see about that because if I reach the end and I feel that, okay, I really need to push hard to finally reach my goal of 130, maybe I will move on to some really big partial stuff and power work to really push myself. I don't know about that, but what I'm thinking is here I'm building for the long run. Even though the 130 goal is really a goal that I really want to achieve this year, what's even more important for me is on the golf course being able to swing between 120, 125, 120 extremely chill, not even trying, and 125 every time I try to go a little bit after it. So that's mainly my main goal. And to do that, what we've saw until now is mainly about strength, my overall strength level. And so as long as I'm gaining strength and the gain of strength is translated into actual speed, I should just keep going. So that's why I think I'm going to focus on squat and bench and deadlift. I don't really know if that's going to make a big difference or not. I don't know, but I think what I'm going to do probably is next year, and you will see next year when I'm talking about that, because in golf, because here I've put kind of speed and power, but here's the deal. In golf, this is not really about raw power or raw speed. What you need in golf is power endurance, meaning you need to be able to produce a very high amount of power while sustaining it for a very long period of time. And there are multiple reasons of that. First of all, because the run of golf is very long and so on, and you need kind of endurance, and you need to be able to produce high amount of intensity both mentally and physically. And this is kind of what power endurance is because it's not just physically, it's also the mind. Your mind kind of have a certain level of intensity. You can call that power if you want, but that's mainly your neural drive inside your brain. And that the intensity at which you operate through an entire round is something that you can train through power endurance. Anyway, so I'm getting distracted. So the main point is, and also why power endurance is important is because to be able to nail the swing, all the elements that need to come together in order for you to have the right sequence to be able to generate the maximum speed take a lot of time. And so if you focus just on raw power and speed, what happens is you get tired even before you actually reach your optimal state of performance to actually generate your max speed. And so maybe your raw power and speed is great, but if you do it at a moment where you're not at your peak level in terms of your body is ready to have a sync every part of the swing together and everything is smooth as it can be, then you just you put a lot of intensity into the swing, but you don't get a lot of output. And so that's why also when it comes to actually generating speed and so on, power endurance is very important. You want to get your body as ready as possible before you give everything that you've got. And on top of that, sometimes it's just about maintaining high level of intensity for a very long period of time. And just because you're maintaining that intensity for a long period of time, your body gets used to that level of intensity and become more efficient and produce more speed. Anyway, so I mean, there is a ton of things that I still want to test and figure out, but next year is going to be all about precision. And I mean, I'm still going to go to the gym, so probably I will test some other stuff. But as I start seeking more and more, and this is what I've applied this year, is if I succeed at only one thing this year, what would it be? Well, for me, that's reaching my, first of all, speed goal, but also my strength goal in the gym. 180 on the squat, 140 on the bench, and 220 on the deadlift. I mean, I don't know if I'm the one that I'm most worried about is kind of the bench, but we'll see about that. We'll see once the squat is settling and I can put more energy into the bench and the deadlift. We'll see about that. I don't know. Because at the moment also I operate without creatine, without protein shake, which I've been using before. And but I just want to keep that. I think for this muscle game, I'm not going to use that because I figured that I have kind of a 6 to 8 week period where I can use creatine before the side effects start getting not out of control, but I'm someone that is kind of craving a lot of water all the time already, and with the creatine, I can reach the point where I'm drinking way, way, way too much, and so yeah, that's kind of the. So what I'm thinking is probably here those 3 weeks for, I'm not going to touch the creatine at all. Just going to try to progress without it, getting back to it, because honestly, that's just getting back to what I was doing before. So I think my body can handle it. I can handle it, I think. So, but then I think during this deload, I'm going to start taking on creatine. First of all, this is going to help me recover. And then once I'm going to be fully ready, I will have this mesocycle to make those gains and get to that 180 goal. And then I'm going to have another mesocycle, which at the end of which probably then I will start feeling the side effect of creatine and I'm going to have to stop. But we will be at a point where I will reach 190 on the squat, I will reach 125, that's the goal, 125 and max speed, of course, and 121 average. So if I'm able to do a 121 average for a session in 2 mesocycles, that's going to be great. That's already going to be a very big achievement. Then I'm going to stop creatine. I might even not do it for the first mesocycle, even though that mesocycle is the mesocycle where I'm supposed to reach 125, 130. I want to try first without creatine, if I can do it. And then we have 2 other mesocycles coming after that. If I can do it, I will have completely got the creatine and the side effect out of my system. I will be completely recovered. And I'll do a last push with creatine, protein check, and so on to really try to push to the final goal of 125 average, 130 max. And yeah. So we have 3 attempts. 3 attempts at 130, 1, 2, and 3. And we'll see about that, how I can pull that off, how close I am, how far I am. But I will progressively, here we will progressively ramp up intensity for sure. As I told you, for instance, not for instance, sorry. As I told you, here I was focusing low intensity, lot of volume, not really caring about the speed. Because I was kind of in a dieting phase. Then here we started ramping up slightly intensity, but I was still between 70 and 80% and I didn't want to push higher. Here, this mesocycle I'm getting back to it, so I don't think I'm going to have to push that hard. But here, from now on, I'm allowed myself to go into the 90% effort territories. That's not all out yet, because I want to keep the all out for this very last part. But honestly, I will start ramping up pretty aggressively. And I think just to keep up with the goal, because 118, 119, 120, but with the kind of adjustment that I made technically, I think the next mesocycle is going to be fine, especially because I'm going to gain good amount of strength with the squat. I'm going to take on creatine. I believe 120 average for the session, once my right knee is fully recovered and so on, is not easily in reach, but in reach. Without putting myself in red zone and so on. But here the 119, 120, 121, yeah, and attempting 125, which is going to be the main one, attempting, because the idea of averages until now was kind of a way for me to keep increasing speed while maintaining my intensity somewhat not low but not high either. Where here I'm going to put a lot more emphasis progressively on the max speed. We have 125, which is the first checkpoint. And to get to that 125, I'm going to have to work hard at it. Then we have 130. This one, yeah, not even a question. I'm going to have to go all out. But 125 for this mesocycle is going to be the last one. What I would kind of want is being able to have kind of 120, like a 122, 123 max on this week, then on this week 123 and 125. Yeah, even I don't know. Maybe I can go 123, 124, 125. smoother transition. So that's mainly it. I know there is not much I want to say. So yeah, just keep recovering, keep feeling better. This week goal is 116. Things should be fine as well. But yeah, I need to be careful with my fatigue because also there is with periodization. Even though I told you that kind of I messed up a little bit all of that. Now it's much more about I want to gain strength, but also I want to gain speed, raw speed with my driver, and to reach my goal. And so to do that, I need to reduce systemic fatigue. So that's why also I reduced to only 2 workouts a week, focusing exclusively on squat each time, and then I do accessory and maintenance work on bench and deadlift. But those I really keep to the minimum. Because I want progressively, as I'm ramping up intensity, I want to reduce fatigue to be able to really unleash my maximum speed. And honestly, that's really annoying me to not be able to do those max strength work. I mean, maybe I should, I don't know. But yeah, clearly I won't be able to move a lot further on the squat and bench. I mean, if I can, yeah, on the squat and bench, on the bench and deadlift, I will not really move forward in the next 3 mesocycle to be able to really move forward with the squat. So yeah, that's going to be difficult to then move to extreme partials. But I mean, that's also something I'm start considering is the bench and deadlift the main thing that is going to drive my speed gain? I'm not sure. I think I reach a decent level of strength on deadlift and bench. I might think that this is enough, but what is really going to make a big difference might be actually the squat, being able to squat really, really heavy. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. So we'll see about that. Anyway, so that was it for this week. And yeah, let's get to it this week. We are going to do bended squat. The goal is 200. Squat is 160. And 116 average for each session. And if I fixed the technical stuff here, I think we should be great. So thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.